Are you thinking about moving to Kennesaw, Georgia, but wondering whether it's still affordable at Atlanta suburb? Because here is where it gets confusing. You might see some home prices in the 300s, then you look again and you find listings approaching $500,000. So, which one is it? Is still Kennesaw one of the most attainable suburbs of North Atlanta? Or has it become an overpriced college town? Hi, I'm Lucia Ursu, a local realtor serving North Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. Today I'm taking you through the real Kennesaw, not only the numbers you might find online. We're going to look at the locations, the type of homes, current house pricing, taxes, transportations, and what you should understand before deciding whether the Kennesaw fits the way you want to live. Let's get into it. So, where is Kennesaw and what is it like? First, Kennesaw. It is located on Cobb County, approximately about 25 miles northwest of downtown Atlanta. Without the heavy traffic, the drive into the Atlanta might look fairly manageable. But being honest, it is Metro Atlanta. The time shown on the map and the time you actually spend in a car are not always the close friends. One of the biggest influence on Kennesaw is the Kennesaw State University. KSU is one of Georgia's largest university, and its presence brings a different energy to the area than you might find in a quieter, more traditional suburbs. You have students, universities, employees, local businesses, and housing demand connected to the campus. That also means the area surrounding the university might feel busier, especially when the classes begin or major events are taking place. But Kennesaw is much more than a university town. You also have Kennesaw Mountain National Battlefield Park, one of the area's best-known outdoor destinations. It offers trails, history, and a beautiful view while you're still close to the neighborhoods, shopping, and the major roads. Then there is the downtown Kennesaw. The downtown area has maintained some of the historic character, and there with local restaurants, small business, community events, and public spaces. It is not the downtown Atlanta and is not trying to be. It has a smaller local feel that gives Kennesaw some of personality beyond the subdivision and the shopping centers. So depending on where you live, Kennesaw can feel like a college town, an established suburb community, or a growing part of the northern Atlanta metro. Sometimes it feels all three in one in the lunchtime. So what kind of homes do you find? Well, there are single-family homes make up the large part of the Kennesaw market, and you will find many homes built between the 1980s to 1990s through early the 2000s, along with newer communities development there more recently. A typical established subdivision might offer 3 and 4 bedrooms homes, 2-story floor plan with garage, community amenities, and mature landscaping. Some homes have completely renovated. Others still have the original kitchen, original bathrooms, and perhaps a little bit more brass than anyone asked for. That does not necessarily make a bad home. It simply means you need to understand what has been updated. You might need to pay attention whether the price reflects the home condition. You will also find townhomes and condominium, especially not near to the university, major roads, and commercial area. These can offer a lower maintenance option compared with a larger single-family property. However, remember to consider the complete monthly cost. A townhome with a lower purchase price might still have an HOA fee that affects your budget. You also need to understand what the associations cover, whether there are rental restrictions, and whether any special assessments are planned. New construction is still available and is around Kennesaw, although much of it might be found near to the outer edge and the city or the nearby community. With new constructions, do not compare only the advertised base price. You need to account for the lot premiums, upgrade, closing costs, HOA fees, and the final price after selection. All of those are going to be added. Kennesaw also have a significant rental and apartment presence, partly because of the university and the demand convenience to access I-75 and the nearby employment center. The important thing to understand is that Kennesaw does not only have one type of housing. Your experience can change consistently depending on whether you are close to KSU, near downtown, west of the city, or closer to one of the largest established community. To see what is actually available and what is listing 6 months or more, please reach out for me. I can send you the current option based on the type of home, price range, and location you are considering. So, how much does actually cost to live in Kennesaw? Because the question everyone wants to answer, it is not how much it costs to buy a home in Kennesaw. This is where the number can become confusing because different websites measure different things. One source might show an estimate average home value, another might report only home that recently sold, another might show the asking price for homes currently on the market, and those are not the same measurements. The recent Redfin data show that a Kennesaw medium sale price it's approximately $361,000. Zillow data show a medium sales price closer to $396 and a medium list price approximately $423,000. And even within Kennesaw location, major difference between them. In the zip code like 30144, the recent median price it's around $385. In 30152, it's closer to $475,000. That's almost $90,000 difference within the same Kennesaw mailing address. So when someone says the average home in Kennesaw costs this much, my next question is, which part of Kennesaw? What type of home? And are we talking about what is asking price or a closed sale? You might still find properties in the 300s. However, those homes might be smaller, older, attached, or in need of updates, or located in different sections of Kennesaw than the neighborhoods you initially had in mind. For a larger, updated home in an established community or a property in the higher price, like 30152 area, you might be looking in the mid 400s or upper 400s and beyond. The honest working range for many buyers is approximately the mid 300s to upper 400s. There are homes below and above that range, but I would not build the entire home search around the expectation of easily finding and move-in ready single family home near 300,000. Those property may appear, but they are not the standard across the market. And remember, the purchase price it's only one part of affordability. Your actually monthly payment depends on interest rates, down payment, property taxes, homeowner insurance, HOA fees, and possibly mortgage insurance. A home price at the $425,000 can produce very different monthly payment depending on the financing your structure. This is why I always encourage buyer to speak with a lender before falling in love with the house. The kitchen might be beautiful, the payment still has to behave itself every month. Also, be careful with the online income estimates that claims you need one exact salary to afford a certain home. A household income around $90,000 might work in some scenario, particularly with a significant down payment and a limited monthly debt, but is not guaranteed. Your lender needs to look at your complete financial pictures. So, talking about that, the income and the taxes. The median household income in Kennesaw, it's approximately $83,000. That give us some helpful context when it compares local earning with the today housing prices. Georgia has a flat individual state income tax rate for 4.99% for 2026. The general state sales tax rate in Kennesaw is 6%, combining the state and the local proportion. Property taxes are assessed through the Cobb County with applicable city taxes depending on where the property is located. Homeowners might also qualify for homestead exemption, but you might also apply and meet the requirement. The exemption is not something you should assume will automatically appear. Compare with the certain higher tax states, Georgia overall tax structures can be attractive. However, I would be careful about calling any locations simply low tax. Your actual cost will depend on the property assessed value exemption, the exact jurisdiction, and your personal income situation. Before buying, request an estimate based on the property you are considering, not only the amount shown on the seller's previous tax bill. The seller might have exception that you will not have, and after the sale, the assessed value can change. That is one of those details that is not exciting until the bills arrive. So let's talk about now transportations, because transportation is one of the most important things to understand about Kennesaw. There is no MARTA rail station in the city. Cabling provides bus service, but for most daily routines, a car is going to be necessary. I-75 is the main route towards Atlanta and the parts of Metro. It offers convenient access, but traffic during peak hour can be significant. Before choosing a home, test the actual commute at the time you expect to travel. Do not test it only at 11 o'clock on the Sunday morning and decide the commute is wonderful. Atlanta traffic, enjoy surprises. Kennesaw can work well for people who need access to Marietta, Accord, Northwest Atlanta, and the I-75 corridor. However, someone commuting daily to eastern side of Metro Atlanta might have a very different experience. You should also think about how close you want to be to KSU. Living near the university might give you convenient access to restaurants, shopping, employment, and major road. It might also mean additional activity, traffic, and rental housing nearby. Neither one is actually good or bad. It depends on where you want and what you want from that location. Georgia summer or hot and humid, and cooling costs should be considered, especially when you're buying an older home. Ask about the age of the HVAC system, attic insulation, windows, and the recent utility bills. During late summer, university move-in activity can also make certain area busier. If you are scheduling a move, try to plan ahead rather than waiting until the final weekend of the month. You will be competing for the moving companies, trucks, and everyone's last nerve. So, is Kennesaw worth considering? I believe it can be a strong option for someone who wants suburban living, access to I-75, outdoor recreations, local character, and a variety of housing choices. But I would not describe the entire city as inexpensive. Kennesaw is more attainable than some northern Atlanta communities, but that doesn't mean every home is affordable or that every part of Kennesaw has the same price point. You might find home in the 300s. You might also find that the neighborhoods and the future you prefer, it's placed close to the 400s upper one. The best approach is not to ask only, can I afford Kennesaw? Ask which part of Kennesaw fits my budget, what type of home can I realistically purchase, and how will my location affect my daily routine. That is exactly what I help my clients figure it out. I'm Lucia Ursu, and I work with buyers and sellers across North Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. I can help you compare current listing, understand the different parts of Kennesaw, and decide whether other nearby communities might fit you better. And remember, there is no perfect city. There is only the city that makes sense for your priorities, your budget, and the way you actually live. Subscribe because I'm breaking down a different North Atlanta community each week. And leave me a comment which of the city you might want me to cover next. I'll see you in the next video.